Meeting order, 18:30 hours. Recognition of the public, there is none.
Well,
Ian.
Ian.
Oh,
We do.
yeah, but
He's a
not
member of the-
public,
He's out there, he's public.
Yeah.
He always gets included.
Approval of the minutes,
so moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
New business would be consecutive exempt agreement. That's a mouthful.
It is, isn't it?
That's the water.
It is. It's the agreement between the town of Brattleboro and the town of Guilford for water line services, for them basically operating and maintaining our water line, them treating it as if it's their water line, and the agreement between the two of how everything will play out.
So they're treating it in terms of maintenance repair as if it's their water line. However, they're billing just the town of Guilford, we do the individual billing. So, and that's all spelled out in the agreement.
Yeah.
It's all broken out in terms of who's in charge of what. We've spent a
Yeah,
lot
okay, yeah, I
hammering
understood
it
that,
out.
understood that from the start.
Yeah.
That was,
And that's testing and everything, right?
That's
That's
testing.
testing.
When there's a warning that needs to go out, they'll notify us, and then we'll notify our residents. So that's kind of how that will go. We will bill.
We will handle delinquencies that are in this town. We will handle also people who are hooking up the water line, I believe, will let us know, we will let Brattleboro know. And but
They'll apply
Brattleboro
to
will,
us, and we apply to them, and they grant to us to grant to them.
Right.
So we're a middleman. Basically, they handle the hands-on operational piece, and we will handle the administrative piece. That kind of is how it
That's
breaks
correct.
out.
Yeah.
they will be
We push
the
the
ones,
paper, they touch it.
they will be the ones that shut somebody off if they don't pay their bill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty much our
Yeah, they're,
And it protects
contractor.
them, it
Yeah.
protects us, them as well as us,
Both of
because
us,
then
yeah.
they have.
The less hands touching it,
Right.
the
yeah,
better.
there's a rumor floating around, and it's a good time to say it, I guess, that the town of Guilford would be responsible for anybody that didn't pay their bill, and that's not the case, my understanding.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, Guilford will be paying Brattleboro for the services. Guilford will then be collecting from individuals. So, in a sense, that's correct in that it's on Guilford to get the money.
It's no different than someone not paying their taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a lot of those as well.
But, yeah,
So it's the same
But
philosophy.
being
We
individual-
can collect from them, and we could
Yeah.
put a lien on their property, and we can do
but being individual hookups, it's a lot easier to shut them off.
yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Right.
I'm trying to get away from the stone. Yep, you got it.
Okay.
And it will also cost individuals to hook up, the initial hookup, this
Oh, yeah.
is not
That's
free.
all, yeah.
So, Katie, just to be clear then, this was taken to the Brattleboro Select Board in their October 2nd meeting.
It was. I have yet to hear from them how that transpired, but I
Okay.
haven't gone back. We are due to go speak with their select board on October 16th.
Which is a week from tomorrow, a week from Tuesday. I will be out of town at a meeting, so I'm hoping you can go.
That's what I heard.
Mhm.
I heard I was
asked
gonna
you that a
go.
while ago. Didn't I ask you that a while ago?
Yeah.
I think I did.
So this is assuming that we get,
It's, yeah.
kind of go ahead from Barb Sunday. But we met with Bob Fisher, their lawyer, Steve Barrett, and Barb over a course of several months, so.
And we'll have a whole day together because we'll be in Wilmington that day too.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
I knew there was something. I
So
thought it was
just
like free
check
food
that
in both
out.
places, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, we could get fed out.
So do we need any motion, Katie? I believe we do we not?
I would pass one just to
Yeah.
conversate to accept
Is
the,
it totally finalized yet? Okay.
pretty
yeah,
much.
So I'd like to make a motion that the Select Board approve the final version of the consecutive exempt agreement between the town of Guilford and the town of Brattleboro for administration and maintenance of the water line coming from Brattleboro to Guilford.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, moving right along. Town office
I don't know how you
telephone
type
system.
in. Not tonight. As many of you may be aware, the town office telephone system is a nightmare to
Yes.
call into. I
Mhm.
don't know
Mhm.
if we can get some agreement on that, that it is performs less than satisfactorily and is really unprofessional when you can't have reliable. So asked Marty to come in to give us a proposal. I was gonna get a quote from another person in the area, but there seems to only be one other.
Mhm.
And I don't really know that much about them, and
Who's the person, the first person you said, Marty, who's that?
Marty
Marty
is,
Grimes from Southern Vermont Telephone.
who
Okay.
does almost everybody in the area, I
Mhm.
need to say. And they've worked on our system
Mhm.
forever, and he came out and gave us this estimate. And while we don't have enough money in our present budget to fully fund this, I was going to see if we could find an extra $700 or $800 somewhere else in our budget
I've already seen it there.
that we can offset the cost of this, because it is,
It's long overdue.
it is. I mean, when we did I think in 2009, we did the automated attendant and added a third line.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew at that time, adding that automated attendant was a Band-Aid. It was adding digital capacity to an analog service, and they don't work well together. So the nice thing is, we can use that automated attendant that we've already purchased. Now all we have to do is upgrade our actual telephone service to be digital. So that service will finally be able to reach its realize its full
So
potential.
what we're paying for here would be the service as well as new machines, I'm
Yes.
gathering?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're getting new machines, you're probably gonna get a new brain,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh,
A new
hero.
white, a new white box on the
A new
wall.
white box on the wall, which is the brain inside
Yeah.
here, okay? And you'll probably get an upgrade of all your phones,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yes, that's
It's
exactly.
probably, it looks to me, it's the same one that's up to the school.
So what do we have in our office equipment budget line item at this point?
1,500, but we have nothing that we did the server last year. There's
So we have
nothing that
1,500 we can spend on this,
Yes.
and so we need an additional like $700 or $800, you're saying?
Yep.
And so then I guess I would have to defer to you unless you've had a look at the budget
Well,
to see if there's a line item. that we can-
Yeah, there absolutely, I'm sure there is.
Is there any way to do this so that we can budget and get
I
done
don't-
now and the
actually,
rest
we
of it done out
We can
of?
do some out of office equipment and some out of office repair and maintenance.
Because the fact of the matter is that we wouldn't be able to pay it till next June.
Well, that's where I'm
I
going.
think that's too long to ask them to wait. I guess I just don't.
How soon will you do it? I mean, that's the other thing.
As soon as we say go.
It'll take you probably 2 days to get this stuff. You could probably have it done next week.
So I think, just because we've heard about this long enough, I guess I think that we can't pay part now and part later.
Oh, no, if it's not gonna be done that quick, I don't know if there's a timeline, whether it would be done later on. No.
And our office repair and maintenance, we have $3,600 in there, and we've spent nothing. And what probably will go in there is the new light for out front
Mhm.
and fixing the sidewalk out front.
And how much do you anticipate that
I
costing?
don't know.
Sidewalk?
Mhm.
Well,
I think
Pete and
we're
I
gonna-
get down, I'll
we're
tell you
gonna
what,
get
you're gonna
some
budget a lot of money
in-kind-
for that one, I guess.
In-kind services for that.
Well, I guess I'd like to make a motion that we combine, use money from the office equipment fund and office repair and maintenance fund and get that job done, because I think it is a source of frustration for me, and I can only imagine that it is for,
You call down here and try to get a hold of Katie and you get pen.
yeah, and you get, then you get put in a circular file until you get Joe
Exactly.
Hunt's message.
Yeah,
Right.
please say your name.
Yeah.
Please say your name.
Yeah.
And then we pick up and it says, Ann Ryder is trying to call. It's like,
Yeah,
but we
so-
can't actually get
I know.
it.
So
It's so
you actually,
frustrating.
you get out your phone and text and you get through
I
that.
know.
Yeah, well, that's how you got it.
I second, that's exactly how I got Katie today. I'll second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we're back to the water line again.
We are. This is the pay request 1. And it's a lumper.
Well, it makes
Well, it
sense.
is.
It's
It's
the
almost
first one
the
we've
whole
gotten
thing.
and the whole
Yeah,
job's,
yeah.
the whole job's done, but most of it's done.
And there'll be a whole slew of these for you to sign. So the amount billed is $387,463.21. It's not on the warrant. It'll go in the next one because I want to kind of go through this in more detail. 387,463.21. So 94,657 has been retained to finish the project. So that's where we are at.
You lost me. 900 and, has, say that last part.
94,657 has been retained
By whom?
by, it's not being paid out
Of
in
that
full.
300?
Of the, well, 482,120
Okay, that's
was
the
the full
total
bid amount,
for the main line or for both?
everything,
Everything.
both.
Okay.
Let's see if there's,
And I'm curious to know how much of a breakout you have here so we know.
well, that's, I wanted to go through it in more detail. We kind of got one, and then it had what we thought were some corrections, but they weren't, so I haven't really dug deeply into this.
So what are you proposing?
Well, I was gonna ask that you move this,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be on the next warrant, so you'll actually move it again.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to have Dick be able to sign it in the interim,
Mm-hmm.
so that we could get this,
This 386,000.
in this kind of formal document in everybody's hands, and then the check will follow.
I see. So what I want to know though is, I'm fine with
It's
that.
owner's approval, basically, of accepting this amount.
Okay. And all I want to know is that at some point we get a breakout so we know which portion is paid by, and we came, they came in, we came out of this very well. We are not going to have any surprises.
But I have it in here,
Okay.
it's broken out.
Okay,
That's
that's
the
all I
aggregate
said.
of the two.
Sure.
But there's a lot to it, so.
How much of the bond is used in this project?
I don't know yet.
Because there's still-
Yeah. There's still more work to be done?
Certainly under
And there-
195,000,
Yeah.
Yes.
but I'm not sure how much it ended.
Don't know yet.
Okay.
And this is just for Halleck, keep in mind. So there are other costs, there's the engineering cost that will go in that, there's some legal costs that will go in that, for the easements that had to be done, and the right of way, so there's more to it than just this particular pay request.
Okay, it's just a preliminary approval and basically, yeah.
Well, for
Yeah.
paying Halleck,
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
yeah. Yep. that's
Okay,
okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve pending, that we do preliminary approval of Halleck's initial bill, and that we understand that we'll be we'll be cutting the check and it'll be in the warrant for the next meeting.
Mhm.
But at this rate, we can start processing it.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to go through and sign all these now, or do you want to sign them after? I think there's, okay, I was gonna say, I think there's 5 copies.
Yeah.
Don't want to
I had to pick through, so I'll leave that right there.
Japanese knotweed project.
And just to remind us all that the bulk of that is being paid by grant monies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, last time, there was mention of the Japanese knotweed project, and that, through the Better Back Roads program, there was a grant opportunity. And the way I interpreted it originally was that the Better Back Roads grant opportunity would fund the removal of it by the town's property, which is the Green River Covered Bridge. That was my understanding. I guess that it's a much bigger project than just that. And there are 6 sites, and the 6 sites,
Are on private property.
a lot of them are.
And does that meet the criteria of the grant?
Yes, but it puts us in that position again, similar to Paul Kidder's property, where the town is doing work or sponsoring work that's done on private property.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how the board feels, but my sentiment with that is that we shouldn't get in the practice of doing that.
No.
Because it's a lot of, it ends up being taxpayer money that funds the coordination of the
A huge
project.
administrative cost that was not budgeted for or anticipated.
No,
It's
not
all in
reimbursed.
kind, it's really
Yeah,
your time,
Absolutely,
basically.
absolutely.
There's a lot going on with that knotweed. The pulling process of it is somewhat successful. There again, at the conservation meeting, I strongly suggested that it be up to the landowner to take care of his own property, not for somebody to go in and do it. They've been asked to leave a couple of properties in the process already. I also spoke with a
This sounds like it would be chemical.
certified chemical agent last week. And they have a cocktail that would take care of all of it.
Well, then we really need to leave it up to the landowners.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Well, I mean, I think we should anyway, frankly. I mean, because could a private citizen individually apply for this grant?
Or they could take it on as a project and coordinate private, if the Conservation Commission wants to do it,
But
or residents wanted to pull together to take it on as their project, if
Mhm.
a committee of Knotweed people wanted to.
That's probably,
I'm just saying, if, you know, I could get me and 6 of my neighbors to get together and say, we really feel strongly, we really want this off our properties, we could together go through and do, it's, just in the experience of doing the emergency watershed protection program, the amount of work that goes into a relatively small project, and the only reason that one ended up being advantageous is it could affect town infrastructure, being the road. If this were just for the covered bridge piece, sure, it would help protect our property.
Yeah.
But when you start having to get agreements with property owners, it's a
whole-
pain. Yeah, and then taking money and loading money, it's
not cheap. I had a long talk with this guy with the spray and the multi-floor rows. They can come in and do that. They would prefer to cut it down and then go back the next year when it comes up and hit it. But the Knotweed, they said they can spray right, they can get permission to spray right to the water's edge. So
Wow.
and they just did I believe it's 120 acres in Burlington. There's some vacant land that they want to turn into a park, and they went in and sprayed the whole thing.
Oh.
And right now they're doing power lines. Some of you've probably seen the guy around with the backpack.
yeah, they're on the
Yeah.
backpacks and on the
Yeah.
four-wheelers.
Yeah.
and there would be a bid process. I mean, it's federal money.
So what do we need to do? Nothing?
That would be my suggestion.
Well, I think maybe letting the Conservation Commission know that the town isn't gonna take it on as a project. That if they wanted to coordinate residents' efforts to do that, the town wouldn't sponsor the project. In terms of being a fiscal agent or putting it out to bid and being project manager for it.
Yeah.
The Conservation Commission is just pushing hard on this, and they want to do some stuff at town meeting to bring it to people's attention.
I think that's great, but I think
That was what I said. It's a good way to start.
Yeah, heighten public awareness and
Yeah.
connect them with resources, but I don't think that we should be the one.
Okay.
So,
So we really didn't do it.
So we're making no motion or doing nothing at this point.
no, so I'll contact,
Conservation Commission and,
let them, do you want me to do that? Do you wanna do
I'll
that?
go to the meeting.
Okay.
I've been going to the meetings anyway, so I'll just,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, just so I know who's doing what. Okay.
Green River Covered Bridge, Woodland Regional Commission.
Yes, it's, talking about restarting the Green River Covered Bridge project, which would go to construction next summer. Irene kind of set us off course with that. So what I would like to do is partner with the Wyndham Regional Commission to have them assist in technical aspects of managing a project that I don't feel comfortable necessarily in my experience level dealing with.
What's that term that Matt would have?
I sat down with the contract with him and said, we're not paying you to do this, we're not paying you to do this, we're not doing
Yeah.
We can, so basically we can do the financial and the administrative part, but some of the RFP stuff,
so when you said we're not paying you to do this, you were saying sort of like, you take this on.
they have like a boilerplate agreement that they.
So
that they
we
do
are
with
paying
most-
them to do some of it or out of the grant money,
Yes,
but we're not
Yes.
paying them to do other aspects. I get it. You're
Absolutely.
splitting it up. So where
Exactly.
you don't feel comfortable.
yes,
they
we
will.
divvied up the workload.
Okay.
Basically, we took their standard contract for services that in a lot of towns, they don't have the capacity to manage this sort of work, if it's a smaller town or whatever it is. So the Wyndham Regional Commission acts as the project manager
Sure.
for it. So they pay the administrative fees, instead of it going to the town, it's paid to the Wyndham Regional Commission. My theory was, why pay them for everything that we can do ourselves? Like the whole financial piece, they usually do that, where
We
we
can do that.
do that.
But the technical piece, you want.
Yeah,
partner.
doing
Sure.
RFP for construction services.
That's
I'm a
That's a
little,
whole different ballgame.
I'd rather not, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not, and I don't think that any one of us here in the town could put together, I could do it with assistance,
Right.
but, so that's where we kind of whittled away and went through, this is a first
So,
draft. So I'm pretty much asking more or less for you guys to allow me to entertain the idea of doing this. And I'll go through the agreement, see if it's good, and then present it.
Can I
at
ask
the
another
next
question?
meeting.
There was a reason why we put off the Green River Bridge project, which had to do with the instability caused by rain.
Yes.
Is there any chance we're gonna be able to get at some of that before we start on this?
Some of it, yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. We have gotten some money
Mhm.
from it, but not nearly.
What we needed.
So,
Did you see that article in the paper about FEMA, about all the people being so upset with FEMA's response and all the turnover
We-
in managers and
No.
stuff?
How many FEMA operators do you deal with? 4, 5?
4 or 5, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, that was,
Yeah.
that article was pretty true.
Yeah, and it's a widespread comment, so.
That was actually, it was actually Peter Wellsworth, I think he was taking testimony about it or something.
Yeah, it's difficult. So before I kind of really went further, I wanted to know if that was something that you guys would be all right with doing that rather than me doing it all to split the workload.
Oh, yeah.
That part makes me pretty nervous, so.
Do we need a motion on that?
I don't think so. I'll have an agreement ready for you next time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, very good.
Oh, if you didn't, I didn't want to waste any more time on it.
Community visit program.
So, remember that icy night, was it in January, that
Yes.
Costello came down and spoke to all of us, and we all parted ways thinking, oh my God, this is never gonna happen, we're never gonna get picked for this program.
We got picked.
We got picked. So, I got a phone call, I don't have any formal, anything in writing, but I just wanted to get it on the record that, we were selected for the community visits program. It was Guilford and Manchester. And that they were gonna move ahead with Manchester first, because, did I email on this? I'm sorry, I sent so much
I
email.
think you did.
Yeah,
That they have kind of a more urgent need from an economic development standpoint. So they're going with them first, and then we'd be
Second part of 2013.
correct, which I said that was perfect.
Yeah.
So,
and I would make sure that all of the folks that were at that initial meeting,
are informed, yep, and Sarah Coffey and Mary Ellen Franklin, who were big supporters and influential in moving this beyond that meeting. They did the whole signatures and public awareness on town meeting day. I don't know if anyone remembers
Yep.
that.
I remember that.
They know and they're committed, so.
So they kind of had up the initial contact with the Council on Rural
I
Development.
don't know, I'm hoping that
We'll wait till we get official
yeah, more
communication.
information. That's why they were talking about coming to the meeting tonight, and I said, I don't really have any more materials or anything.
yeah.
I didn't want them to have to come to yet another meeting that didn't really yield anything.
And I don't think that's something we have to take on anyway, really.
I know,
Yeah.
I think the select board had to be on board,
On board.
but I'm not sure we have to head it up.
Yeah.
But I do think it's kind of an interesting congratulations to us, but ready to do some work. I'm not sure what the nature of the work's gonna be, but.
But I think the process reveals what the work will be,
Right.
which is the most interesting part of the whole program, I think. It draws out what our town needs will be based on resident participation, really.
Isn't part of their program is to decide what we need to do?
Right,
It's not- it's not-
exactly.
Yeah, they're not telling us, we need to decide.
No, the way they were describing it started out with you have all of these ideas that people in the town think are important initiatives for us to take, and it's a watering down of that to get to the ones that are most important to everybody.
Basically brainstorming the whole town and then,
Yeah, a planet.
It's interesting because I was speaking to a resident of West Guilford who was talking about how isolated he felt West Guilford was from the rest of the town. I thought, I thought about this community visit program. I thought, that's an interesting topic to look at.
And it's bringing state resources, so maybe if one of the items that evolved out of that was how to unify a large landmass scattered population town, how to unify that population to have a more
sort of identity as a whole town.
Absolutely.
Get a
Absolutely.
big dozer in here and level down a lot of mountains.
Well, no, I mean, it might be having a scenic byway program that takes that road straight through Guilford and draws in those different, I mean, there's different programs that can.
And there again, it goes back when Guilford was a farming community, everybody knew everybody and worked together.
Yeah,
and
but
now
they were all
it's-
their little
now it's all
hamlets.
these little hamlets that are isolated, yeah.
And West Guilford doesn't even really come through the rest of Guilford, they go down Heinsberg and,
Yeah.
yeah, not everybody does.
So basically close Heinsberg Road then.
Yeah.
I think,
At the Brattleboro line, force everybody.
I think there's more Halifax people use Carpenter Hill than there is Guilford people.
Probably right.
Yeah.
So more to,
Anyway.
more to find out.
More to come,
Wanna
stay
find out
tuned.
with that.
Mhm.
Okay, discussions, updates, water line.
I think we've kind of done that.
We've kind of have, just to kind of get it on the record though, to say that the water line is in the ground, but it is not live. It's not ready to connect. It's not, people can't get on it right now. We don't have any information yet. It's still in the construction phase because the meter's not done. There's still work that needs to be done, and I think there's, the
There's a
sense in
perception,
town, yes, that the grass is all grown in, and why aren't we connected to water? There's a big panic going on. And this project happened extremely fast. The heavy construction part happened way ahead of schedule. I think faster than anybody anticipated.
It's one of the issues right now, trying to make sure that the Guilford portion of it doesn't draw so much water that it upsets the Commonwealth. Yeah, I
Yep,
mean,
it's
they're trying to
working
get
with
that
pressures and
balance.
flows, yeah. And when they need to draw, that it doesn't, it's really more the opposite. When they draw,
I don't think they're anticipating any trouble with that though.
well, they're trying to get the,
But they have to
the
figure it out.
valve,
Yeah.
the correct valve, and the
Yeah.
correct pressure, and all of that stuff just right, because when they draw for peak flows, they draw.
Yeah, I mean, they're.
And it's pretty big, so, you know, it's not like you wanna go get in your shower and all of a sudden there's a couple of drops coming up, that would be,
I don't even need to be part of the water line to experience that.
that's the joys of a private water system. So, it's still in progress, just putting it out there.
Community church, daycare, and early childhood education programs.
So what's this at? Tell me what this is. I mean, I have heard about this.
Actually, I don't know if this really ought to go too far at this point. Lisa Sparrow approached me Saturday, and they are looking at Woodcock building, the house,
Mm-hmm.
and they would like to purchase that and use it as a daycare, early childhood education facility.
Well, I
And they-
believe we have in Guilford at this point 0.
We have one,
Who?
Desiree Tetrol,
Oh,
with an
okay.
hour.
Okay.
So that's just daycare, correct?
Just a daycare.
Just-
you don't
just a
put-
daycare.
You know, Laura Lawson Tucker and other people have gone out,
That's-
so.
that's- they're all
No,
in
and
it,
it's
yeah.
private.
Yeah, so I think that'd be great,
Yeah.
but
And the reason she asked me was she wanted to know if it would upset anybody in town, and I said I didn't think it would.
I can't imagine that. Well, I think that the people in town would probably be thrilled.
I think it would be a great service for not only people in Guilford, but people beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Childcare is a real problem,
Yeah.
good childcare, and access to it, so.
So that's all there is on that. Town fair.
Do you wanna give any recap of the
I'm
town?
sure that we have different opinions on
Town
the town
fair,
fair.
as Peter, Penny, and I went to a really interesting workshop on the healthcare reform that's coming down the pike. And it's gonna be, a lot of change,
Yeah.
especially for townspeople, or town employees who, by and large, people in government are used to rich healthcare plans. That's
Mhm.
one of the draws, is that you get this great benefit package, and it's a trade-off because you don't get great pay. It's kind of how the balancing act works. So now it's leveling that playing field so that everybody that had these great benefit packages.
Won't have such good ones.
No.
Yeah.
And so how is that gonna play out? Have you guys been discussing this?
Is it
with
school
them?
employees as well?
It would have to be. It's universal,
I think
yeah.
it's coming down the pike.
Mm-hmm.
So for fiscal year 14,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to contemplate this, because this change is gonna happen in October of 2013, which is our fiscal year 14. So first quarter, we'll still have our same benefit plans, but wham, October 1st, I think it is, 2013, everybody has to go into the healthcare exchange.
Mhm.
So there are a variety of different ways that this can be done. We can either, as a town, choose plans. Basically, the exchange will offer X number of plans that you could pick from.
Mhm.
Or you can have your employees go
Pick
in
their
the
own
exchange as individuals and they do their own thing.
Mhm.
So, and there's 4 levels, like the Olympics,
She
except
said-
the Olympics doesn't have platinum.
And after I talked to you and Peter, I don't know when they Fuji or whatever you want to call it there. and
Sure, smoothie.
Smoothie.
Off the back seat of a bike. I was like, oh, fine, I'll pass. Stick with the free
Yeah,
coffee.
basically they said that there was not going to be a lot of choices out there, and so
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
So
we'll just
we're-
deal with it as we deal with it. But that's good to have a heads up.
Yeah, so it's
And I'm
going
wondering if we
to,
should be starting to, well, you probably already started to let town employees know that.
no, we're just kind of learning about this
Okay.
now. But it's gonna be really difficult to deal with. So financially, we're gonna have no clue, because they have no clue.
Mhm.
Right now, you know, of course, we're all in the room asking questions like, they don't know yet, we don't know yet, we don't know yet. Well,
Change is hard.
change is hard, but it's hard to have this change right on the brink and have no answers.
Mhm.
Because we have to, all of us sitting in that room say, we need to know by January 1st what's
For
gonna happen.
budget planning.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's tricky. And then on the flip side of that is saying to employees who are very used to
I'll let her.
having a level of service to have it really, not just medically in terms of their coverage, but administratively in terms of how their medical coverage is handled for them, they're gonna be having to do it for themselves.
Mhm.
So-
Even if we adopt one plan as a town?
Yeah, there'll be more responsibility on the employee's part of taking ownership for their plan and managing it
I
administratively.
didn't understand talking to Blue Cross, if they all got to take the same plan, they can all take different plans, I believe, of the 4.
They
She
could.
said,
And-
she said, don't worry about the top one because nobody can afford it, but,
But the worst part of that, for the town office administratively,
yeah.
for us to handle different, it's easy now, we have one plan, we know how they all work.
Oh, so you might have to be administering 4 different plans.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
so what do we do then? Have someone to spend their time managing the plan, the different plans? It
I'm
could
going
add,
to choose to be optimistic about this.
Okay.
Because if we have that problem, every town in Vermont has this
absolutely,
problem.
yeah, absolutely.
They've got
Or
to figure
every
that out.
town in Vermont can go to individuals.
Yeah.
Here's your money, go get your plan.
Mhm.
And when they need help, we don't do that anymore. So that's what I'm saying, there's a lot of
Mhm.
choices, not in the choices of how you think they are.
Right.
This is what you have to do, and how are we gonna manage it? 'Cause
So meanwhile, what were you doing?
My donation
that was
was,
one of my.
I spent a lot of time with the vendors and learned a lot about different stuff, and
You did a lot of eating, didn't you?
brought back, a few pens and pencils. Actually, I went to the public records
Mhm.
with the umbrella. And this is the second time I've sat through that class, and it's just as confusing now as it was the first time. And it's a very touchy,
What the public is entitled to see and what's
if
public.
somebody walks in and says, I want to see so-and-so's records, you have to be awful careful
Sure.
that you make sure they get them. There's very few. Supposedly there's 200 and something exemptions, but as Jim said, of those 200, I think it's 247 exemptions, he said, of those 247 exemptions, probably 200 of them are non-exempt if you go somewhere else, and that's the way the whole thing is solved.
And is that shady for us to know whether we should or shouldn't?
It-
My
it's-
theory is don't, and just
We shouldn't
He-
share a record you're talking about.
If it's someone wanting to look at someone's employee file, I would not feel comfortable, and I would sooner pay a lawyer's cost out of my own pocket than do that to a
He
town
said
employee
if-
that we're not sure if it's open or not open.
Right.
If there's any doubt in your mind whether it should go out or not, is to call the town agent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, so much of what we have here,
Yeah,
who
and,
cares?
yeah, one of the things we do need to do though is have a written request form made up. She
Oh.
said that's a key issue, always, so you don't have to have it, but you recommend that you have a written request.
Sure.
So,
Does Penny know about it? Did you mention, that would be something to talk to Penny?
yeah, no, yeah, so.
And then I went to a workshop. Did you go to other workshops or no? I went to
I
one
went to the
on,
meeting at the
okay,
end
all
of the
right,
day.
he was our voting delegate.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went to a workshop on ADA requirements.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is,
Holy
So thank you.
mackerel. March 2012, they, did you have to go to that?
No, I get the paperwork.
Oh, boy, there have been, I think, sweeping changes in standards for March 2012.
That have gone in place, in other words.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. In terms of accessibility and
Yeah.
any sort of, we're pretty good, thank God.
we are.
Mhm.
Because we don't have much property.
I didn't go to the meeting, I talked to the ADA guy that was there.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the green shawl and voting and all of that, and he said, I was talking about the elevator to the second floor and all that, and he said, yeah, and basically, things are getting tough in that respect.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was interesting, but those were, and then, is that the segue into the next item on the agenda we could talk about?
Parcel mapping and reappraisal, reappraisal is an afterthought, but parcel mapping.
Yes, let me just quickly.
Did you bring knives for all of us?
No.
Jeez.
I
Good
did,
thing
I
come
totally
along when I
ordered
did,
them
I
for
really
myself,
don't
I'm
want-
giving those up.
Bring
If they-
what?
If they want a knife, they
Give
can
them
go to the
jackknives.
town fair. I don't even know if I can say this right. Cartographic Associates, Inc. The gentleman's name was Tim Fountain. He's the vice president. He is eager and enthusiastic and wants to come talk to us about parcel mapping.
Where our parcel, they're really, really out of date.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
And he does, his company, he had a map showing the towns that they maintain and the towns that they did the mapping for and maintain them, and they do Brattleboro.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was gonna talk to Kate Snow,
Oh, good.
because he mentioned her name, and follow up and see if they've been pleased with their services and get the ball rolling on that. And he was very eager and says, I'll be in touch with you in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you're gonna be ready for me to contact. That means 2 weeks. I'm gonna write the date down. I said,
the key
So
thing
with
is,
the next select board meeting, do you think it makes sense for him to come?
maybe, or at least have him come to the office to talk to me and someone else, or
Listers?
anyone who would like to participate in an informational discussion.
That
with
maybe makes
no
better
decision
sense,
made.
actually.
And
Oh, I
if
think
it
he
sounds
can
like
come to the
something
meeting.
that's worthwhile.
Well, I was just thinking during the day where he could touch base with Penny or Peter or Frank or any of the other, you
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
that's what I was
During
thinking.
office
You know, it
hours.
affects, I think, the office people more than,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we were gonna enter into an agreement, then we would have to talk.
we own it, right?
Which? Own the data?
Yeah.
I can find that out.
That's the key issue. Some of them are very cheap, but they own the data and you pay
Oh,
through,
right,
you
right,
pay
right.
through the nose to get, but I
Right.
think this guy, I think when they're done, we own the data.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
But that's the key.
Yeah.
But what they would do is maintain it and update it each year
Yeah.
as things change. So, like I said, very eager and enthusiastic. And they're out of Littleton, New Hampshire. That was one of the ones that had been mentioned before. And then another point was reappraisal services. I am fairly certain, I sent him an email too, just actually see if he's responded to me.
This guy, Tim Fountain?
No.
Didn't find anybody up there that did that.
I had a every once in a while, Ernie from Nemrick, the owner of Nemrick, calls and checks in, makes sure we're satisfied, blah, blah, we just kind of touch base and get a pulse on how everything's going. And when I spoke with him last time, he mentioned that they are now offering, I'm pretty sure, reappraisal services.
Nemrick is?
Yep. Well, they do the grand list.
Uh-huh.
They have the software, so to do that, it kind of marries well with what they do. Yeah, and he didn't email me back yet. I went on their website to see if I could find, their website isn't fabulous. Sorry. I shouldn't have just said that. But I couldn't tell from their website if they offer this as a service or if it's so new that it's not updated on the website yet. So I was gonna find out some information from him and just pass along.
Good.
So that's that.
So we had, I mean, that was something that we were looking for at the town fairs.
Totally.
Top,
Yeah.
But they were the only mapping place.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah, I was
I
surprised
tried
by
to
that.
find somebody else.
Because typically there's two,
Mm-hmm.
him and another guy.
Yeah.
We like him because he has good gifts. He doesn't just give away candy.
I think we gotta go next week, see what these gifts are.
Jackknives, that's what I've heard.
Jackknife?
Next year it's in Killington and.
He said, what item do you use on it the most? I said, that
Corkscrew.
right there.
Uh,
That's not true. I used
So you
to
can't
know.
go,
It's in Killington?
it's in Killington, so
Too
you
close.
can't go.
No, she can. She just has to wear silly shoes.
No, I have to, I can't go because of that, and also if Dick gets caught driving behind me, he loses his mind.
Yeah. And I went to the meeting at the end of the day, the delegate meeting, and time I got there, they started earlier than what I thought, and I voted on a couple of things I wasn't exactly sure what I was voting on. And I just voted the opposite of what the guy in front of me did. I thought that was the right thing to
You're
do.
really boosting voter confidence right now.
Really.
And it started raining, and at 3 o'clock I left, and I couldn't believe that on 89 coming out of Essex, the maximum speed was about 30 miles an hour. It was raining so hard. That was even with the Daredevil, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So highway general update quickly. I believe they got a new machine in. The other one kept breaking down.
What machine?
The excavator.
Okay.
The problem was that somebody had welded on it at some point and not disconnected the battery, so it shorted out the electrical system and it kept breaking. Anyway, they got a new machine. They got it done on the river down by Bob Arnold's. That's done, I believe.
Okay.
And they're coming up to the covered bridge. You got one little section there, and then they have a little section up by Bob Bowman's, where they just got to put more stone up there, where that river's coming in straight into the road. And the leaf blower is on the tractor and ready to go. They'll be blowing leaves, cleaning ditches, and probably doing their winter grading here shortly.
So we got rid of the leaf vac.
No, you
It's
don't.
on. It's potentially on the market. Yeah, it's on the market, and we have a potential buyer. Let me rephrase that. Yeah.
So when we blow the leaves, we're just blowing them around?
Yep.
Just to get them out of the ditches?
Yeah. And it worked considerably quicker than the leaf vac did.
Well, because the leaf vac, you were having to empty
You
it.
got two guys.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious, I always wonder about leaf blowers, because it seems like you're just kind of blowing them around and then there they still
Yeah,
are.
they go up on the banks and stuff out of the
And
way.
they stay there?
Yeah,
Alright.
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Finances.
Well, we have the, yes.
Okay.
That was added last minute. We got the draft financial statements back from the auditors. So it looks like we had and this is not like, looks like we had 44,000, about 45,000 surplus, it looks like, in the general fund. And we had a deficit in the highway fund, but because we had carryover from the prior year, so it's $4,000 less, because last year was 115 we had a surplus, but we never did anything with it, so there it's sat. So now it's 111.
We never did anything with 115 in the highway?
We didn't move it anywhere to do anything with it.
Why did I always roll that into
I think we didn't. I think we didn't
We
because
did
of
because of
Irene.
Irene.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's, which was good,
Mhm.
or we would have had a $4,300 deficit. So that's kind of preliminarily where we sit.
What, $45,000 roughly surplus in
In
the
the
general?
general fund,
general fund.
which I need to kind of make it down.
Quote Eli, how come?
How come? That's exactly what we're gonna find
Okay.
Not a
out.
bad
My
thing.
guess is that we took in more revenue than anticipated.
Well, it wasn't that special.
I'm always just interested when you think about budgeting that
And
way.
you know what? I know we did, because Barb Hunt collected on some delinquencies.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
she
right,
did.
right,
She
right,
collected a lot.
Okay,
Mm-hmm. She had a couple big fish that paid.
finally.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that one was going up for tax sale.
Right, right,
Or
right.
the-
And as soon as the tax sale came out, word of mouth, the money came in.
Mm-hmm.
So we never had to borrow anticipation of taxes this year.
Mm-mm. We didn't have to. I'll be honest with you, we watched that checking account almost daily.
Yeah, I know you were very concerned
We
about
were, and there was, I had talked to People's Bank about either a loan in anticipation of taxes, actually a loan in anticipation of taxes, and then a gap loan for the water line.
it. Mm-hmm.
Because I thought we would start to receive invoicing for the water line
Oh, well,
in August.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have collected taxes at that point, and it has just worked out magically
Mhm.
that we're getting invoiced for the water line
Yeah.
very close to October 15th,
Yeah.
so we're able to have that cushion of money to wait for reimbursement. So,
Back to the highway, we
and a lot
still
of people
have,
paid taxes early this year.
we have FEMA money coming in still.
Still, we will. Mm-hmm.
We have no idea how much or when it's gonna get here.
No, we haven't even submitted for that
Yeah.
piece of it yet, because until all the mitigation work's done,
Yeah.
can't do that.
That's part of that, money we surplus we did.
Okay.
And I think it should sit and wait.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about that more when we get final audit results, but,
Yeah.
to see how we should move ahead, but I at least wanted to pass that along, I just got that, so. Still a lot of paperwork stuff that has to be done to close out the audit,
Okay.
so that's that.
On the other hand, this is the audit for fiscal year 2012, correct?
Yes.
And this is beginning of October.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. This is all good.
Yes,
Okay.
we're good.
Yes,
We're in
it
good
is.
shape,
Yeah.
we're in good shape. Mhm.
When did they used to start those? They couldn't even start them until like December or something, remember?
Oh, we still had, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in a very good place. We're in a very good place.
Mhm.
I'd like to make the following motion that we pay payroll of 9/30/2012 for $4,350.53. Warrant number 4 for $33,818.26. For total expenses of $38,168.79.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So-
Yeah, I ran across some redneck jokes the other day. One of them says you may think your license plate's a vanity plate if your father made it.
Oh, Richard.
So do you think I should email Neil and tell him we can start moving in the town report?
Yeah, he would die.
He wouldn't believe me. So, next warrant will be the 22nd.
And that'll be that great big one here.
It will be
It's
huge, huge one, because it will pay out all of the human services,
Oh, as well
including
as
the fire
the water line.
station, the water line,
School.
maybe. It should. I don't know if Penny's done that. She needs to do that. And probably the fire department bond. I mean, but you know what? The goal, just like we did last year and I think the year before, let's get all of our money out of the checking account as soon as we can. And then all that's left is
That's
operating
sort of my
money.
way of life.
Also, pay your bills. Pay all your bills off. Pay in full. Okay.
Money comes in,
It's not like
money goes
it's
out.
not like we're earning.
Interest.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's
It
a
is.
joke. Putting 74 cents into some accounts is like, it costs more money to actually do the transaction to put it in there than it does to actually. So, anyway.
138.
There's a workshop on Act 138 in Brattleboro. If anybody's interested, I have the information. That's the, what's your act that you're,
148.
okay.
I was gonna say, I don't know what 138 is.
I'll tell you
Clean
quickly.
And,
Yeah.
and Betty
Vermont
Fry.
Statewide Water Quality Trust Fund
Yes.
Report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested and wants to go to another meeting, I have that for you.
Betty's supposed to be here on the 22nd.
Okay,
She called me personally.
okay, so we'll anticipate seeing her then.
Yes.
Okay.
And
But this would be a location for the lake house, is as an odd place for a public
Amendment?
meeting. Act 250 permit amendment, Guilford Center Properties, to install 3 500-gallon fuel tanks. That's for tri-state asphalt. I forget the reason why they did that, but.
Are they outside?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, to fill their.
Yeah.
I got an email from Tim Morton forwarding along the inspection of the Sweet Dam report. Did I
Sweet
forward-
Pond, yeah.
Yeah, did I just say that wrong? Sorry. Did I pass this along?
No, you
Through
didn't,
email?
we talked about it.
Okay.
It did not, we hadn't seen it.
It's the same sort of inspection as what it was before.
For quality.
Four. P-O-O-R, not P-O-U-R.
Okay.
that's
You want
because they
to
let the
get-
water all out.
I read that.
Okay,
I got here a little early.
all right, you're a good person.
And then the last item is a letter from Friends of Algiers Village inviting the select board to the open house on Sunday, October 14th, from 11 to 3, to show everybody the new interior of the country store and all the wonderful changes.
A snack served?
Yes.
Of course.
No.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, mark your calendars. One and all.
Anything else?
She still hasn't corrected your spelling of executive.
Did I not? I didn't. You're right. I keep using the same file. It will be for the next one.
And I don't believe we have any reason for an executive session.
No,
No,
I
we
don't
don't.
think so. We don't have the police chief and all that stuff like that.
Let me think if there's anything else. So Betty's coming to our next meeting,
Supposed to.
and we might have information about the community visit program at our next meeting, maybe. Okay.
I'm not
And if she
sure.
comes, Bob Spencer will probably be in tow.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
So I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.